among linen-covered tables to a far corner of the room. The restaurant was even more opulent than the lobby, with wainscoting of olive-stained oak, a cream-colored frieze, and an ornate ceiling of raised plasterwork. Stoddart stopped beside a sumptuous table at which two men were already seated. "Mr. William Gill, Mr. Oscar Wilde," Stoddart said. "Allow me to introduce Dr. A. Conan Doyle." Gill, whom Doyle recognized as a well-known Irish MP, stood and bowed with good-humored gravitas. A heavy gold Albert watch chain swayed across his ample waistcoat. Wilde, who was in the midst of taking a glass of wine, dabbed at his rather full lips with a damask napkin and motioned Conan Doyle toward the empty chair beside him. "Mr. Wilde was just entertaining us with the story of a tea party he attended this afternoon," Stoddart said as they took their seats. "At Lady Featherstone's," Wilde said. "She was recently widowed, poor dear. Her hair has gone quite gold from grief." "Oscar," Gill said with a laugh, "you really are wicked, talking about a lady in such a manner." Wilde waved his hand dismissively. "My lady would thank me. There is only one thing in the world worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about." He spoke rapidly in a low-mannered voice. Doyle examined Wilde with a covert look. The man was striking, almost gigantic in stature. He had unfashionably long hair parted in the middle and carelessly thrown back, his facial features heavy. His choice of clothing was of an eccentricity bordering on madness. He wore a suit of black velvet that fitted tightly to his large frame, the sleeves embroidered in flowery designs and puffed at the shoulders. Around his neck he had donned a narrow three-rowed frill of the same brocaded material as the sleeves. He had the sartorial audacity to sport knee breeches, equally tight-fitting with stockings of black silk and slippers with grosgrain bows. A boutonniere of an immense white orchid drooped pendulously from his fawn-colored vest, looking as if it might dribble nectar at any moment. Heavy gold rings glittered on the fingers of his indolent hands. Despite the idiosyncrasy of his clothing, the expression on his face was mild, balancing the keen quality of his eager brown eyes. And for all this, the man displayed a remarkable delicacy of feeling and tact. He spoke in a curious precision of statement with a unique trick of small gestures to illustrate his meaning. "You're most kind to be treating us out like this, Stoddart," Wilde was saying. "At the Langham, no less. I'd have been left to my own devices otherwise. It's not that I want for supper money, of course. It is only people who pay their bills who lack money, you see, and I never pay mine." "I fear you'll find my motives are completely mercenary," Stoddart replied. "You might as well know that I'm over here to establish a British edition of Lippincott's Monthly." "Philadelphia not large enough for you, then?" Gill asked. Stoddart chuckled, then looked at Wilde and Doyle in turn. "It is my intention, before this meal is complete, to secure a new novel from each of you." Hearing this, a current of excitement coursed through Doyle. In his telegram, Stoddart had been vague about the reasons for asking him to come to London for dinner. But the man was a well-known American publisher, and this was exactly what Doyle had been hoping to hear. His medical practice had had a slower start than he would have liked. To fill the time, he'd taken to scribbling novels while waiting for patients. His last few had met with a small success. Stoddart was precisely the man he needed to further his progress. Doyle found him pleasant, even charming, for an American. The dinner was proving delightful. Gill was an amusing fellow, but Oscar Wilde was nothing short of remarkable. Doyle was captivated by the graceful wave of his hands, the languid expression that became quite animated when he delivered his peculiar anecdotes or amusing bon mots. It was almost magical, Doyle considered, that thanks to modern technology, he'd been transported in a few short hours from a sleepy seacoast town